with more than 1,000 families in the past 6 months, helping them cut tantrums in half, handle the tricky behaviors with respectful parenting. These are the two things I consistently see my families doing that actually have enjoyed the toddler years and know how to confidently handle these tricky behaviors and see progress with their parenting. Or if you're not following me on the other app, make sure you go follow me over there, because in my stories every day I share behind the scenes, client stories, and tons more examples of these things in real life. Number one, they know that behavior is communication, and their toddler's behaviors are telling them something and coming from somewhere. And then number two, they use that communication to prep and teach their toddlers the skills they need to make better decisions, have less tantrums, and stop the tricky behaviors without resorting to things like punishment, timeout, yelling, etc. This is really what it comes down to, you guys. Parenting toddlers, of course, can be so hard. It can be so nuanced. There are really tricky moments. But the framework that you can use to feel confident as a toddler parent is so simple. It is just understanding when my toddler's having massive tantrums every day, when they're having meltdowns all the time, when they keep kicking me or hitting me or running away or yelling no at me, they are communicating something. They're missing a skill. They need an outlet. There's something going on underneath. And instead of doing things like sending them to timeout, taking away screen time, yelling at them to kind of squash that behavior, we start to look at what's going on here. Because there's so many reasons toddlers do those things, whether it's because they're feeling overstimulated, they can't regulate their emotions, they need their power bucket filled up, they need connection time from you, they're just testing boundaries and having fun. Most confident parents, and the reason why I have been able to enjoy the toddler years with 3 kids who are 5, 3, and 1, is because I started to see those behaviors not as something I need to like squash and chop off, but because I started to see them as communication. In using that, I knew how to approach it, because when my 2-year-old was doing a ton of hitting, sending her to timeout might have stopped the behavior on the surface, but it wouldn't have gotten to the core, which was that she was feeling really overwhelmed. She was feeling jealous because there was a new baby in the house. She was feeling frustrated and didn't know how to handle that. So what did I do? I taught her appropriate places to hit to get her frustration out, and I taught her emotional regulation skills. So when she was angry, she knew some tools and tactics to handle her big emotions. Those are the things that long term stop the hitting, and also are going to be so helpful to her growing up. Now she's 5, and even as she gets into the older years. I know it's easier said than done, but that's why I put everything around this topic into a guide, so that you could learn this framework and start to see examples and apply it to your own toddler, because that's when you start to feel confident. That's when you start to see the behaviors and you're not bothered by them anymore, because you're like, hey, I see what's going on here. I know exactly what I need to teach, or what I need to give, or how I need to approach this in a respectful way that's going to not only stop the behavior, stop the tantrum, but it's going to help my child learn. And I'm going to feel good about it. And we're going to come out of this stronger and more connected than ever. And those are the two things that I've seen with my 1,000 parents that have gone through my toddler tantrums guide, that the ones who do those two things consistently every week for a month even see huge impacts in how their toddler's behaving and how they feel in motherhood or parenthood.